And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode on the Grade A Fantasy channel. I'm your boy, Grade A Fantasy, dropping two videos today. Let's get right into it. But first, we will start with, I'll save the wide receivers for last. So that means today we are on, as you see on the screen, we are on the defenses for week 2 on the FanDuel slate. First and foremost, I don't think there is really a reason to pay up. I mean, yes, San Francisco is at 4,800. You do have a Denver defense who's going to put up way more of a fight and resistance towards Indianapolis, even though they're on the road. But I kind of like, your mid, and as you saw by the cover sheet, a surprisingly contrarian pick due to the week 2 situation. But let's get right into what I feel are my favorite picks. Yes, San Francisco is great at their 4,800. But here's the dangerous thing about San Francisco. You're asking a lot for a defense to, pay off what their salary is, especially when they're what? What are they? The second most? Yeah, 5,000 drops to 48. They're the second most expensive defense. But if Mac Jones has issues moving the ball, especially obviously we know Kittle's going to be out till the middle of next month. We have Purdy, who most likely will be out, the rest of this month and probably come back at the beginning of this month. Mac Jones is capable. There is a wild card factor to Mac Jones. It's just that from the time that he started in the league, hasn't really been that productive since. So if we get the Mac Jones of especially Jacksonville, and they can't move the ball like that, and he gets pressure with a couple of turnovers. Saints were able to put a little bit more pressure on who's a more mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray, although, asterisk, Kyler Murray was known as, being sick, so he wasn't 100%, but still did well. I think it's something to worry about where if you do pick this defense, you actually have to count on the offense. Because if there are a lot of 3-and-outs and they key in on McCaffrey, who most likely who's guaranteed 30-something touches in this game with no Kittle and then, of course, no Purdy to help Mac Jones out. If they can't move the ball and they're punting and only getting it to about the 40, 35, and they're getting decent returns on the way back, there's a lot to think about San Francisco. But San Francisco is still an option. I will still try to get to San Francisco, just not as much since the offense isn't healthy. After that, yes, Denver on the road, 4,700. They'll definitely put up more resistance than what Miami did when they were at Indy in week 1. I think the Steelers, on the theme, they're on a bounce back being at home against Seattle. Hasselbeck was at home, and besides him and JSN connecting, the offense looked horrible. So JJ Watt at home, Pittsburgh at home, the terrible towels, they'll be hyped, especially with Aaron Rodgers helping to move the ball. When you have a quarterback like that moving the offense, defense stays fresh. I think they'll put some blitz packages together to get to put some pressure on Seattle in the offense. So yeah, I think Pittsburgh is also a good one. Once again, that front seven defense in general. Like I said, 2 rough debuts on the road at Denver and now at home, but against Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are definitely somebody that I'll probably figuring out to pay up to. I actually like the Rams matchup more than San Francisco just because of the situation there. 4,500 even though they're on the road. If Miami still stinks, it's definitely a contrarian pick, but New England 4,400, but maybe not too contrarian because a lot of people probably will be influenced on how bad Miami looked in week 1. So New England on the road, and the defense did play pretty well, 4,400. If we skip down a little bit more, I do like the option of Indy. If that offensive line looks like it did in game 1 against Indy, like how the offensive line of Miami looked game 1, then I think there could be some pressure because every turnover was related to pressure. The front 4 of Tennessee dominated the offensive line of the Broncos. Front four and some blitz packages dominated Miami. There's options for another Indianapolis, having the home crowd behind them. So converting some turnovers and some sacks on, even though they probably won't get as much sacks, but they could force some interceptions. Indianapolis is a good one. One of my favorite sub 4 Arizona, I I could have put them there, but I really wanted to talk about, probably the number one contrarian pick this week. But Arizona, I'm definitely gonna have a ton of them. 3,900 at home against Carolina. As bad as that offense looked, Arizona should be the one around somewhere between where the Rams and the 49ers are, to me personally. Uh, if we continue, Detroit could be an option at home. It's one of those defenses that play better at home, and Bears are still struggling, probably still a little shocked over blowing that lead against Minnesota. If we keep scrolling down, another pay down, 3,400. Dallas, not the best defense, but guess what? The Giants aren't the best offense either. So I like Dallas at home against the Giants. And if we keep scrolling down, right there, I mean, two teams at 3,000, and it's not Carolina that I like. I like the Saints. If they could get to a subpar Mac Jones, not as accurate as Purdy, if that front four and they're at home, I understand. I think they're the worst, but DFS is a weekly game, and this week it's very rare. I really, really normally it's like a 32 or $3,300 defense that I recommend, but a 3,000 Saints defense with no Mac Jones, with no Purdy, no Kittle, a dinged up Jawan Jennings. It's like I said, on the San Francisco side, it's a highly concentrated offense with, Mac Jones is capable. If they could pressure Mac Jones, if they could pressure Mac Jones, if they could get some sacks on Mac Jones, if they can at least do something, 3,000, if they can at least do half of what they did last week. They got 5 sacks on Kyler Murray, who's way more mobile. Yes, asterisk, he was ruled a bit sick, but they still got 5 sacks and only allowed 20 points. When you lose Brock Purdy and Kittle, I mean, the implied total, whatever it was coming into the week, into the low 20s, has to drop now into the high teens, maybe around 20. So if they could do this for 3,000, yes, obviously defense is just the craziest thing to try to predict. But to do the most with your lineup, if you decide to, once again, this is a week that I've gone over that I think you can pay down at tight end. There's a lot of quality tight ends in the 5,000 range, unless you're going McBride. If you pay down at tight end and take the Saints 3,000, you've barely paid over 8 to 8,500, and you have a lot to do with the rest of your lineup. I really think the Saints is a very smart contrarian pick. This is probably the last time I'll pick them all year. So, with injuries already affecting the 49ers, normally with the 49ers, injuries affect them late in the year. Now it's already affecting them. By week 2 of the season. They're at home. Why not? Why not? They didn't get stomped as we all thought by, Arizona. So a healthy Arizona team with a semi-sick quarterback, now no Purdy, no Kittle, dinged up Jennings, and like I said, backup Mac Jones. I'm going to have sprinkles, without a doubt. And with that top contest, out of 20 lineups, I think I could see myself getting to 4 to 6 lineups of, I could probably say 3 to 5 lineups. Because like I said, there are other options. There are other options that I do like way more than the Saints. Because taking the Saints is still a risk. But I really love the Saints. This is why they're on the cover sheet. But yes, that is the end of the defensive preview. Once again, San Francisco, yes, but it is a risk because, once again, like I said, if 49ers can't move the ball, they're going to be on the field a lot, and they're going to be put in precarious situations. So it's a risky pay up. I like my pay up starts right here, 47 to 45. Denver, Steelers, and Rams. I actually like the Rams the most, personally. Once again, I know I'm there for the bounce back, but if that Miami offense is broken, New England's an option. And then once again, we get to the middle, 4,000, 3,900, Indianapolis, Arizona. And my favorite paydowns are Dallas and New Orleans. Point blank period, even though I did probably mention a couple other teams before. But yeah, Dallas at home, 3,400. If you're worried about the Saints like not holding their end up to the bargain, and Mac Jones, who is a capable quarterback, and let's just say him, Pearsall, and McCaffrey just go bananas, then I honestly think the safer route, without a doubt, is Dallas at home, 3,400 against a putrid New York Giants offensive line. I just like how I like the Rams, and the Rams had a solid week against a bad Houston offensive line. Dallas still has some defensive talent, and that's a bad New York Giants offensive line. So the sack potential is there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for tuning in. This has been the defensive preview for week 2. Wide receiver video will be dropping later tonight or early tomorrow morning. And good luck in week 2. Once again, that 20 max contest, it's already half filled, even though they doubled the typical attendance. So without a doubt, we shall be looking at some should be an exciting 20 max this week on FanDuel. FanDuel, once again, running a very profitable cashing contest. 50% of the field wins. So the only thing that sucks is it went down from 25 to a 20 max. But anyway, thank you for tuning in once again. This is your boy, Grade A Fantasy. Wide receiver video coming up soon. Good luck in week 2, and I'm signing off.